Good. Hi everyone, welcome to our morning meeting here at the Center for Wildlife. I'm here with Zipper, our corn snake ambassador today. If you're just tuned in for the first time, welcome. If you've been with us the last couple days, thank you for coming back. If you can comment where you're from, where you're watching from. If you guys have any questions, we'd love to answer them. We'll be going through as we get them to try to answer as many as possible. So welcome everyone. We are a nonprofit. So if you would like to donate to the care of Zipper and the rest of our ambassadors and our patients today, there is a donate button on this post. So thank you everyone for tuning in today. So Zipper is our corn snake ambassador, named after that pretty belly that he has, as well as some confusion in olden times. Pioneers would find these beautiful snakes in their cornfields, in their corn cribs, assuming that they were eating their corn. But of course our snakes are carnivores. They're not interested in eating all that corn. They were eating the mice that were eating all the corn. So that is how they got their names, because they were found in those corn cribs, those cornfields. But they are little gentle snakes. They're super docile. They're very common pet trade snakes. So that's actually how Zipper came to us. He belonged to a high schooler who was going to college, kid belonged to school. This was a long time ago when we did take pets. So he has been with us for 2007, so it's 2020, so about 13 years. We believe he's about 19, 20 years old now. So do we have any questions yet, or people that are joining in today?
Haven't seen any questions come up yet. We have about 17, 18 people that have joined us so far, so if you guys want to leave a comment and say hello and let us know where you guys are tuning in from, we'd love to say hi to you.
Hi, welcome everybody. Right, Zipper. Yeah, so Zipper has been with us since 2007. These guys are really commonly seen in pet trade snakes. That's why he's with us. Just because they are so gentle and calm and relaxed. He's just hanging out, smelling me right now.
Oops, Sarah just joined us. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah. Yeah, so that's what he's doing when he sticks his little tongue out. Of course, now he's not going to do it anymore.
Oh, there you go.
There he goes. He's just smelling me, right? Yeah. So even though he is wrapped around my wrist right now, you can see this is an older shed from him. So he is about 5.5 feet long now. They do, of course, grow when they're much younger. They do slow down as they get older. But they do shed pretty often. During the warmer months, he'll shed usually about once a month. You'll see on here. Zoom into the eyes, or I don't think it shows off very well. So right where my finger is, you can actually see there's a little circle. That's where his eye would be. So his scales just go right over his eyes. He actually has some little dust in there right now. He's playing in his sand when I went to go grab him from his enclosure this morning. Right? During the summertime, they'll do this about once a month. This is actually a really great shed. We know that because it is in one piece. He's getting all his needs met. It's nice and humid in there. He's getting all the right things to keep him nice and healthy. Because it is in one piece, so we know he's a really healthy snake, which is really great. Where are you going?
Oh, Candace just joined us. Hi, Candace.
Hi, Candace. Welcome, everyone. Where are you going? As he stretches out for you. Such a good boy. Right. So Zipper just started to become active over the last probably week or so. During the winter months, of course, we don't see our reptiles and amphibians. They are underground, trying to keep themselves safe, brumating, hibernating. So that's why we don't see them right now. We actually have a couple, though, that woke up in our clinic this winter over the last couple weeks when it got warm, and they came out, thought it was safe. And so now they're staying with us until it does get a little bit warmer so they can go back out into the wild. Right?
Oh, Ashley just joined us. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley. Welcome. Do you have any questions going yet?
Nope, no questions so far.
Cool. He'll shed once a month. He'll eat once a week or so, or every other week during the warmer months. He actually hasn't eaten since the first week in November now, because he wouldn't be out in the wintertime, so we don't feed these guys during the winter because it would just sit in their stomach. They wouldn't digest it. Their bodies pretty much shut down during the winter time.
Yep. Abby and Katie just logged on. Hello, guys.
Hi, guys. Welcome.
And Carolyn with Molly.
Hi, Molly.
Molly says, "Good morning, Zipper."
Good morning, Molly. Hi, good morning. She's like, I was hanging out in my tree this morning in my sand and playing around. Right? You're so active.
He knows it's springtime.
Yes, he does. He'll be eating probably pretty soon in the next couple weeks because he's been super active. He actually just shed last week. Actually, a really good shed too, which we're always really happy to see. And so he's starting to wake up for the year. Right?
Carly just joined us and wanted to know what type of snake Zipper is again.
That's a great question, Carly. He's a corn snake. So they are not native to here, but they are pretty common pet trade snakes, and that's why we have him. We have 7 species of snake here. None of them are actually venomous, though. There's a pretty rare population of timber rattlesnakes up in the White Mountains in New Hampshire, but we don't see them here. There's actually only a few people that even know where to find them, those researchers that are tracking them and checking up on them, because they're not doing really well up there. So none of our snakes that we're going to see here in Maine are venomous. If you ever do have a question, though, you might be worried. There's a couple really easy ways that you can tell. So a snake that is venomous, you can see how his head is kind of more linear. It's kind of just straight down. A venomous snake is going to have a very arrow-shaped head. So if you are, unfortunately, close enough where you can notice that, there's that, as well as, unlike Zipper's eyes, which are round, like ours, they have the round pupils, a venomous snake is going to have more like cat eyes and have that straight line. Like I said, we don't have any venomous snakes here in Maine, and you're really not going to see them in New Hampshire either. Right?
So Parker wanted to know, is Zipper venomous?
That's a great question, Parker, and he is not. I would not be handling out Zipper if he was. He's a very good boy, very gentle. I'm not worried about him. Right?
And Delaney and Anders have joined us, and they would like to know what do they eat and how often.
That's a great question, Delaney and Andrew. So Zipper in the summertime will eat one mouse once a week or every other week. Because he is a reptile, he's an ectotherm, he can't keep himself warm like we can, which is why he's not eating right now. He would be underground. His body pretty much shuts down during the winter time. So he eats mice. He's actually our only ambassador who eats live food, unfortunately. He's our only ambassador who will not eat dead food. We wish he would eat dead. It's a little bit safer. He goes, I've been eating live food my whole life, and so that's what I'm used to, and that's all I'm going to eat. But he'll eat little tiny little mice that we get for him. Oh, so handsome. What do you think? Like, it's kind of cold out.
Yeah.
But Zipper lives right here in our office and right in front of the doors. If you've been able to come up to our center, we are open 9 to 5 every single day. Even right now. So you guys can come up and go for a tour still and meet the rest of our ambassadors that live outside. Zipper lives right here in our office, but he's right in front of the door, and so it gets a little chilly for him sometimes. At least until we are next door in our brand new building, which we're really, really excited about. I have an actual nature center and a classroom and a much bigger medical clinic. So we're really, really excited to be over there. Right?
Jake is actually wondering how Henry is doing.
Henry is wonderful. He was actually pretty sleepy when I went to go say hi to him this morning. But it's cold.
Yeah.
And I understand. It was pretty chilly this morning. It was about 20 degrees, so. Right?
Molly would like to know how strong Zipper's smell is.
That's a great question, Molly. So imagine every time he's a little flicking his tongue out, he's smelling me, but in the wild, he would be smelling for food. So he has pretty good eyesight as well, just like us. But yeah, stop there. He would be using it for finding his food, but I'm not sure how far that actually goes. That's a really great question, Molly. Right? Yeah. So you can see he's wrapped up all around my arm right now, just trying to keep himself warm because it is a bit chilly in here today. But he'd be using all those muscles to help him hunt. So here is a snake skeleton. So you can see the head up here, and then all the little rib cages. And so he does have bones all through, but he's very, very muscular. So he's what we call a constrictor. That's how he would be taking his prey. He would be biting it and then wrapping himself around it to kill his prey. So he's very, very strong, very, very muscular. But right now he's just trying to keep warm. And actually, you can't see very well in the skull. Their skulls are actually pretty cool, also involved with how they're eating. So there are two parts of their jaws they're attached, but they're not fully attached, which is why snakes can eat things much bigger than you would think. They can stretch their faces way, way bigger than we can. So when we give him food, he has to stretch his mouth way open to try to get that mouse in his mouth. It's a pretty cool adaptation snakes have. Which is why sometimes we can see videos of snakes that we don't have around here eating really big things like goats and alligators, like all those big pythons down in Florida and stuff like that. But he would not be eating anything that big. He's going to eat a mouse about this big, a couple inches long. Right.
Megan says that Zipper was the inspiration for her getting her own corn snake.
Aww, yay! Yeah, these guys get a pretty bad rap, which is kind of sad. We do love our snake ambassadors because they are really good at teaching and showing people that they are really just gentle giants, right? They get a pretty bad rap. A lot of people are afraid of them, which we do understand. These guys don't have legs and arms like we do. They're can't tell you please, like leave me alone, like I'm really nervous. The only thing they can do is strike. And especially when they're about to shed, they can't see, so I have the scale that goes over the eye. And that's why some people do get bit, is because they're approaching a snake that's about to shed, and they can't actually see. Fingers and stuff like that, they can see light, and they can see dark, but they could see kind of a shadow, more or less. But they can't, if I held a couple fingers up, they wouldn't be able to see that. Just so they are scared. They do get nervous. Right? Right. People get scared of them.
Stephen has joined us with his son Clark, and Clark is wondering how the corn snake got its name.
Hi Stephen, hi Clark, welcome for joining us today. So the corn snake got their name for a couple of things. So you can see that belly on the other side, kind of like that cornucopia corn that we see during Thanksgiving and Halloween. But they also got their name because in olden days, the farmers would find these guys in their corn cribs, in their cornfields, stuff like that, thinking that they're eating their corn. Of course, our snakes are carnivores, so they are eating meat, unlike us, who are omnivores. And so he doesn't want to eat the corn. He has no interest in that corn, but he is interested in the mice that are eating the corn. So that's why farmers thought that they were eating their food, so they got mad at them, right? They were just eating the food that was hanging out in all that corn. Kind of what happens when you have birdseed and you try to feed your food or how to feed your wildlife in your yard. You're not going to just attract the food that you may want to have, like your little songbirds and stuff like that. But when you attract songbirds, you're also going to attract their predators. So it's kind of life cycle and the food chain, how that goes.
Nancy would like to know what other species of snake we have as ambassadors.
So we have 2 snake ambassadors, and neither of them, however, are native to here. So we have Zipper, our corn snake, as well as Elvis, our California king snake. So both of these snakes would have relatives in the Mid-Atlantic and down in the southeast. So Zipper would be kind of New Jersey south, and then over to like Texas-ish. We do have eastern king snakes as well in that same similar range. Of course, Elvis is a California king snake, so he would be, if he were in the wild, out in California, out on the west coast. But he's also a pretty common pet trade snake as well. Our snakes that we do have around here in the wild, we have ribbon snakes, we have ringneck snakes, we have smooth green snakes, northern water snakes, milk snakes, black racers, those kind of guys. And actually, some of them actually even have live babies, which is pretty cool. I just learned that pretty recently. So some of them lay eggs, like our garter snakes, our milk snakes. So they're going to lay actual eggs, but a lot of the other ones, mom will actually retain the eggs in her body and then give birth to live babies, which is pretty cool.
Cheryl would like to know if corn snakes usually stay on the ground or if they're able to climb trees.
Actually, that is a great question. So he can get around, but there are snakes that are definitely better at climbing. We don't have them around here, but like black rat snakes are known for their climbing abilities. So he can climb a little bit. We have some branches and stuff that he can climb around in his enclosure. But you wouldn't necessarily find them like way up in a tree.
Meredith wants to know how many scales they do have on their skin.
That is a fantastic question, Meredith, and I unfortunately don't have an exact answer for you off the top of my head, unless you know, Karen.
I don't. I know that it's a lot.
So if you can zoom in and see all of his little scales that he has, they all are all over his body, even his eyelids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of them, but unfortunately I don't have an exact number. Actually, since you are
Probably at least hundreds, if not thousands,
yeah.
I think.
And you can see how tiny and little the ones on his head are, too, which is pretty incredible. So sometimes in like Connecticut and Massachusetts, we sometimes do see copperheads, which are venomous. But a way that you can tell, because they do look a little bit similar to these guys. So where Zipper has more square blotches and rectangular blotches, the copperhead's blotches are going to be more of like an hourglass shape. So their name have a copper-ish head. So they are a bit orange, just like the corn snakes. But of course we wouldn't see the corn snake out in the wild unless it was released and was a pet.
Addie and Andrew have tuned in.
Hi guys.
And Andrew would like to know how often they shed.
That's a great question, Andrew. So during the summertime, he will shed usually about once a month. He just shed a couple weeks ago, so his shed before that was late November-ish. But of course, reptiles are underground right now. They're not active. So once they do become active, that's when they're going to start eating again. That's when they're going to shed. So their shedding is them growing. So he will shed. He'll definitely shed more in the summertime when it's nice and warm and humid and stuff like that. But he could go several months or he could go a couple weeks. It just depends. Once he is starting to shed, we'll notice his eyes get a little foggy. So then it's usually about 2 weeks later when he finally completely sheds.
Molly would like to know how many eggs they can lay.
That is a great question, Molly. So they can lay between 10 to 30 eggs. They are going to lay actual eggs. They're not going to have live birth. Right? Little oval white eggs is what they're going to lay. That's a great question. So their gestation is about 60 days. So about 2 months.
And Dawn would like to know how long they live and if they bite.
That's a great couple questions, Dawn. So in the captivity, of course, they're going to live much, much longer. So estimates in the wild are between 10 and 20 years. We're hoping to have him into his 20s, maybe, hopefully 30s, I hope. And like anything with a mouth can bite, even humans, unfortunately, fighting with siblings. So he could bite, but generally you're not going to get bit by a corn snake. Unless they are spooked, especially our corn snake ambassadors, just because they are very docile. That's why they're really common pet trade snakes. So he could, if he were spooked, like if I wouldn't be handling him when he's about to shed, he doesn't go on programs, just because he is more alert and nervous. That would be really the only time I'd be worried about getting bit by zippers if something was wrong.
Kristen just joined us with Levi and Olivia.
Hi.
And Levi loves the color orange.
Hi, Levi. Hi, Olivia. Hi, Kristen. Right? You are very handsome, aren't you? Welcome, guys. You are so handsome. And so there's quite a bit of variety that these guys can come in. So they can come in more like a really light, like almost a whitish orange, to really dark as well. So Zipper is kind of in the medium size of that spectrum. So he does have quite a bit of lighter orange, but he does have those pretty dark blacker spots as well. Right? You're so handsome.
I can show you all the different colors on
Yeah,
him.
he's quite handsome.
Quite a variety.
And so Zipper, as well as all of our ambassadors here at the Center for Wildlife, are available for adoptions. It's a sponsorship for a year, so we'll send you some information about Zipper as well as their species. You get a little card for you. That Zipper and all the other ambassadors are included in that. You can adopt him. Right? Where you going? How are we doing questions?
I think we've caught up with everyone's questions
Awesome.
so far. Oh, Nicole has tuned in.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi,
Welcome.
Nicole.
Right.
Oh, and Rob Hussey is here as well with us.
Hi, Rob. Welcome. Where you going? I don't really know. You want to stretch out?
Must be so strong with all of those muscles that he has.
Mm-hmm. So strong. It's actually quite fascinating to watch him eat. Right? So much muscle.
So many bones and vertebrae as well.
Over 200 to 400, I estimate.
Wow.
Of course, with the snake's anatomy, it can be kind of hard. So we have an idea of generally where everything's going to be, but of course every snake is going to be different just because they're all different lengths and different ages and stuff like that. So you can take an idea, like it should be in the first third of the body, or the middle third of the body, or the last third. But where everything actually is can be kind of hard to tell. We know where the ribs are, and the skull, and everything else is just kind of fitting in between there, between all the muscles that he has.
Oh, Caitlin has joined us. Hi,
Welcome,
Caitlin.
Caitlin. Thanks for joining today.
And she would like to know what Zipper does all day, and does he enjoy spending time with people?
He does. So unfortunately, it is a bit chilly out today, so when it gets nice and warm, I like to bring him out to enjoy some sunlight, and we go for walks, and we'll let him explore the grass and stuff like that. But he spends a lot of his time during the winter time hanging out in his log, because he would in the wild be underground. And because he is in front of our front door, it does get a little chilly for him, so he's not very active during the winter time. But now that it has started to warm up, he's starting to wake up for the springtime. He's moving all around, he's exploring his enclosure. When we do their cleanings, we will give him new plants and rearrange things. Reptiles respond really well to environmental enrichment, so we can give him new things to explore. Right now, he has a little tree kind of thing that he can climb up and down. He has almost like a ferret ring. It's about 1.5 feet that he can crawl through. There's a couple holes. It's furry. Just different things for him to play around with. He has a little water bucket that he can either drink out of, or if he wants to go for a swim and take a soak, he can do that as well. He can explore all day and do whatever he wants and move around. He loves going on programs, just like the rest of our ambassadors. They are very well adjusted to being ambassadors. They've been with us for many years, but he loves to go out and meet everyone too, because he's very misunderstood, which is kind of sad.
Stephen would like to know how long corn snakes grow.
That's a great question, Stephen. So he is about 5.5 feet. They may get a little bit larger, but he's a pretty good sized corn snake. He is much bigger than the average, which is about 4-ish feet. He's about 5.5 right now. But of course he is in captivity. He's living a lot longer than a wild snake would be living. Just like the rest of our ambassadors. That's a pretty general rule, right?
And Sarah would like to know where Zipper lives.
It's a great question, Zipper, and I think we can actually probably show them too.
Sure. Yeah.
Go for a little walk. Right? We're gonna go show them your home. Our office, you guys just came through our back office where our staff can work, our human kitchen, our main admissions area, and then our animal kitchen through here. This will give you guys some orientation. So this is what Zipper's home looks like. So he has some sand, and that's the tree I was talking about. If he wanted to, he could go up through that little loop, or into the little hut right there. So he has a bunch, and some plants for him to explore as well. Right? And he has a white light, he has some heating lamps to keep him warm. And so reptiles can be actually really hard to take care of, so you want to be really prepared if you do want a reptile as a pet. Snakes and turtles, they can be pretty difficult if you're not prepared. But he is a wonderful boy. Snakes can make great pets, you just have to be really prepared to do it.
And where is Zipper going to live in the new facility?
He's going to be in our nature center, so we're really, really excited. Both Zipper as well as our 2 peanut turtles that live currently above him. And the rest of our reptile ambassadors will be in brand new tanks when we move next door. They're bigger, they're able to explore more. So we're really, really excited that you guys will be able to actually meet all of our reptiles, not just these guys. You guys have been here for quite a while hanging out in our front. We actually have a lot more reptile ambassadors that do have to live in the clinic and stuff like that. So we're really, really excited for you guys to meet them in their new homes.
And Anne would like to know how old Zipper is.
That's a great question, Anne. So he, we believe, is about 19, 20 years old. He's been with us since 2007, so he's been with us for about 13 years. But he's a wonderful ambassador. We're hoping to have him into his 20s, hopefully 30s. He's such a good boy.
And Stephen would like to know if anything eats corn snakes.
That's a great question, Stephen. So in the wild, of course, it would be in the Mid-Atlantic and South. Like different hawks will take snakes. He isn't venomous, so other animals don't have to be weary about that. Our California king snake, actually in the wild, could eat rattlesnakes. That's why they're called king snakes. They're literally the king of snakes. They have an anti-venom in their body, so it doesn't bother them when they eat all those rattlesnakes. Different other species would take him, really anything that could catch him, especially right now in early spring, because their bodies are still waking up. They're pretty slow still, especially on a day like today. If he were to go outside, he really wouldn't be able to move very much, because it's really cold out. When it's cold, they really can't move, they're not digesting and stuff like that. So when they are out, like it's cold, if we have a warm spell like the last couple of days, and then a day like today, they're out, they're basking, they're trying to keep themselves nice and healthy in the sunshine, and then they wake up and have a day like today, where their body's like, no, it's like, can't move, shutting down, sorry, and that's when they're open to predation, unfortunately. Any more questions?
Nope. I think we've caught everyone's questions so far.
Alright. So if anyone has any more questions, we will wrap up in a few minutes. If no one has any more. Right, buddy? Yeah. So right now in our clinic we have, we have the milk snake.
Mhm.
We have 2 garters, right?
Yep, 2 garter snakes.
Who've been with us for a little while. They're going to be actually able to release pretty soon, which is really exciting. When we have warmer days, they are actually going outside in their tanks to acclimate and get used to the temperature and the sunshine again. That sunlight is great for them, keeping themselves healthy. Right? Okay. I'm trying to move you around. Yeah. He's such a good boy. So, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with...
We do have one more question that just popped up if we have a second. Kristen would like to know if snakes are good for us. So, like, how do they benefit us?
Wonderful question, Kristen, and of course they are. They are eating mice and rodents, so they are really good for rodent control and stuff like that. Especially our snakes here in Maine and most of New Hampshire. They're not venomous. They're not going to really hurt us. They really just want to be left alone. When they are in the wild, they're much more afraid of us than we are of them. So they are really good for us as well, even though they do get a pretty bad rap.
And then one last quick question from Molly here. She would like to know what is his prey?
That's a great question, Molly. So he would normally eat rodents, and so mice, maybe a small rat. A big rat might be a little big for him. But generally mice is what he would primarily be eating in the wild. Hi, handsome? So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with... I don't remember. Oh, Artemis, our Northern Solid Owl ambassador. So see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. and thank you for tuning into our morning Wildwood Ambassadors.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.